Well, hello everybody, Barrett here. Thanks for checking out Tempo League. Today we're talking about stopping the stick, okay? So the basic idea here is, if we have our stick beads up high and we want to make sure that they are down low, we want to stop that stick, but we don't want to do it by grabbing onto the stick really tight. So if that didn't make sense, hopefully this will. So if you are playing free strokes, right? And hopefully you've built up the free stroke by now. Go back and watch that video if you haven't, and watch the other prerequisites up to this point with stringing free strokes together and using your fingers. But assuming you've got all that happening, now when we're playing a free stroke, remember we're staying really loose. The stick is just bouncing up to us. So when we throw down a free stroke, it's always going to bounce back up. Well, what if we want it to not bounce up? Well, the tendency is to tighten up before you play the stroke that you want to stay low. So you're playing along, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to play a free stroke, or I want it to stay low to the head, tense up, smack the drum, and that'll keep it low, right? But we don't want to do that, because when you tense up and you grab onto the stick tightly, and you smack the drum, then that force goes from the drum up into your stick, up into your hand, into your wrist, into your arm, your elbow. Bad stuff is going to happen after doing that enough times, right? Tendinitis, you're going to have a lot of problems. So we don't want to absorb that shock. We want the stroke to be a free stroke, and as it starts to come back up, then we clamp down on it, okay? We'll try a couple angles, make sure you see it the best way possible. So again, we play the stroke, it starts to bounce up like a normal free stroke, and then as it comes up, we use these fingers to pull it into our palm. And you squeeze a little bit tighter at that moment between your thumb and your finger. Okay, so it's happening real fast, but my hand is basically like just grabbing that stick so that it doesn't come back up. Do you see the difference there between, so that is the healthy way, and then tensing up and it sounds different. Hopefully you can pick up on that, because when I'm grabbing the stick, again, it's not that big full wood sound, almost the weight of the stick that you get when you do it with just a free stroke. So you hear that? That is me being loose, letting the stick hit. You kind of hear the full weight of the stick hit the pad, and then I stop it, versus much more muted, kind of thin sound. It's because I'm grabbing on tight. So the healthy way to stop the stick is what we're talking about here. Going along with free strokes. It does not stop until the free stroke starts to bounce back up, and then boom, we grab onto it. Okay? Hopefully that's making sense. Again, I'll show it with this hand. So put that there for a second. Hello. So you're bouncing the stick, it's coming back up, and it bounces and starts to come back up. And let's say, just to demonstrate, we'll go a little bit extreme here. It starts to come back up. You use these fingers, pull it into your palm, and at the same time, you kind of squeeze here. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. Hits. Pull it down. Hopefully, I don't even know if that was helpful. Okay, so the exercise we're going to do, we're at 120 BPM. These are quarter notes, so it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to play, start with our right hand. We're doing free strokes. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Make sure you're aiming for the center of the pad. Remember all the technique stuff we've talked about. Elbows in, nice and relaxed. And that you are stopping the stick the way we've been talking about. Don't let yourself fall into anticipating the hit. 1, 2, 3, tense up, bam. 1, 2, 3, tense up, bam. No, that is unhealthy and it's going to lead to injury. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, so important to remember that the stroke is still a free stroke. If you didn't do anything, it would still come back up as usual. But you do something. You act on it way down low before it has the chance to bounce back up. Okay, let's do this a little bit together. 120 BPM. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you're doing this with me. Getting in the reps. Feel your fingers pull the stick into your palm. And I talked about your thumb and finger tightening. Maybe they do a little bit, but as I'm doing this, I really don't feel that as much. So don't think about that too much. Mostly think about your fingers pulling that stick into your palm. The stick should be nice and low to the head. So we'll stop in a second and go over some things. One more time through. Okay, so the stick should be nice and low to the head. So you're not letting it bounce way back up and then pulling it into your palm so it's like that. It should stop nice and low down here to the head. And you'll see in the next video why, because we want to do accents and taps. So when you want to play those types of things, you've got to have that thing low so that the next stroke can be a nice low tap. It can't be coming up here. You know, you're stopped, like I stopped it. It's like, well, you didn't really stop it low enough. So there's that. And also I said, I talked about the thumb and finger tightening. You can think about that, but mostly what I was feeling there is the fingers pulling that stick right into the palm. That's really what stops that stick. Your thumb is there. Your thumb's there for sure, but don't think so much about, well, I got to get that pressure here between the thumb and first finger. It's more the thumb pushing into the side at the same time that the fingers are pulling that stick into the palm. Fingers pull the stick into the palm, thumb's there to also push into the side. And that's how you stop that stick nice and low to the head. Okay? Don't look past this one. Don't think, this seems easy, I'm just going to move on. Because again, you want to make sure that you're not just fooling yourself and you're actually tensing up, smacking the drum, and that's how you're getting it to stay low. That's one way to do it. You know, you can tense up. You can tense up and keep it low for sure. But good luck staying healthy over the years if that's the way you're going to go, right? So nice and loose, stopping that stick nice and low to the head. One thing that might help if you're finding this to be really tough is get a little elevation on your sticks, okay? So if you're playing down here, you can still do it. I'm talking like your hands are down here, but it's gonna be harder for you, right? Because it starts to go back up and you have to pull it into the palm. If you get on top of it, you're in a stronger position to be able to control that. So something to think about, you know? Hopefully you're seeing that hand position, that versus, you know, being down here like this. Get on top of it. Things to think about with how you set up your snare drum. If it's really high, you know, you're not going to be able to come at it at the angle. And I'm not talking about getting extreme like this or anything, but just getting a little bit on top of it can help. Okay? So practice this one. Do that exercise. Make sure you're staying healthy. And if you need to, go back, review what we've talked about up to this point. Keep reviewing them. And then when you're ready, go ahead and move on to the next one. Thank you for checking this out. I really hope you have a great week. We'll see you on the next one.